Okay, last one now before last week, lesson 11. Let's do a quick review on lesson 11. We learned Java break and continue. So the break is to break the code, the flow of the code, and the continue is to actually skip a iteration or a iteration in a loop. Okay, let's continue. And arrays. Arrays are very useful and popular in almost any programming language. So we learned how to access array, how to modify array, and how to get the length of array. The length meaning the number of items in an array. Change the value, of course, with the index value. Remember, index value start with 0. So the first element is index 0. And the last element, the index of the last element is the string length -1. Java constructors, that's all Java class constructors. When you create an object out of a class, you can call a constructor with parameters. If you don't have parameters, you probably don't need to call the constructor. You just you call they still the class name. Basically the constructor, a constructor username that match the class name. So if you don't define this constructor, there's a default one. The class automatically create one for you. That's a constructor without parameter. So just like if the class is point, the default constructor is the point and then no arguments. If you want to pass value to the constructor, then you have to specifically define it. So this is called a defined constructor. There's a one without arguments parameter that's hidden. You don't have to specify or define here. So this is how you call a class constructor. When you create a new object, a point out of a class point, you pass a parameter. So basically you use a new key, the keyword new, to and then pass a parameter to construct an object. Okay. Yeah, we use a car as the example, and then so remember you can have a constructor called a car and all the car properties. So when you create a car object, you can pass the values to build a car, and then you can access the object. Okay, let's skip to the new thing here, lesson 12. Okay. We have a lot to cover today, so tie your seatbelt, get ready. Yeah, since this is the second last lesson, in 2 more lessons we are done. So I want to cover as much as we can. It's okay if you don't follow me or don't understand the thing clearly. It's okay. I just want to let some basics, have some impression, so you just know what Java program language is about. So then later on, when you have the need or interest, you can continue to explore or to learn. The Java class has many levels. This is a very, very for beginners, they're very entry level. So don't worry if you get lost or anything, it's okay. So we already, I think, you used array before, but and also in the last lesson, we know the array, how define array. Why I list that here? Java arrays. Why do I list that here again? Let me see. Oh, this is, yeah. This is a continuation of the array. So the last lesson is definition, and this time is how to loop through an array. Basically, you want to read, instead of using the index, then you can use a loop to loop through the index and then access each elements of the array. So this is called a loop through an array with a for loop. So again, you can use a for, remember the for loop, you just define the indicator, the counter, from 0 and to the last element. Remember, last element is the array length -1, so you can use that less than, you don't have to equal. If you use equal, you probably get error. So 0 and then less than, and of course, increase the index by 1, and then print out the array name and the index. This will print out each of them. So if you run this program, you will get a Volvo, BMW, Ford, Mazda, in 4 lines. And also you can use, let me see, you can use a for each loop. Yes, you can use a for each loop to loop through the array. You can use that, or you can use also this is for, but look, the inside is different, okay? Even it's both a for, but this one is you have 3 statements, and this one you have this interest thing is like a no assignment or comparison, is it just like a column here. That's just meaning, okay, here's a car, is a local variable, very local, it's just only inside for the scope of this variable is inside this for loop. So this is the input of the array. This use the array as an input, and here basically, okay, assign each element of value to car, and loop through it. So first car, second car, third car, in the printout. So it's a different way to loop through it. Why don't we just try it? Yeah, here, last lesson, we define the arrays, we access using the index, and then if we use the loop, we can do something like, instead of using the index, just add a loop to it. That still match it? Does that match it? Yeah, okay, that match it. Of course, you can't use the specific number anymore. You just use that variable I. So that match there. Cars. Do we have cars? Yeah, we have cars. So we will print out the 4 cars here. And of course, that's the main Java. Let me save it and compile. May, no, markcase may, oops, sorry, may.java. Oh, got an error. I think I'm not matching. Let me see. That's that. That's that. Why is not matching? I'm passing. For that seems to be okay. Oh, that one not matching. So we do need another one. So this one match that. That's why, intention is useful. Meaning, go that, go there. Oh, well, Yeah, one more. One more. This help, they reading. And this one, go. Oh, yep, there now, see. So this one is for this method, the main method. This one is for the for, and this one is for that. So this is a short program. You can just visually, oh, okay, they pair. But in reality, you probably want to do this. When you do the program, when you write a very long program, many pages, many lines long. And so you start that, and then you don't know where this ending or the closing braces would be. Then you can just put a say, okay, and for. So this is for, this is start and end. And this one, you put a comment here, say, okay, and the main method, the main method. And this one, you said, and class name, right? Yeah. By the lowercase must be the method, uppercase must be the class. But if you say, I want it really, really more straightforward, you can say end of main method. And here is end of main class. So in this way, you can easily match after many lines opening curly braces, and you can match them. Yeah. Okay. That's a little trick I like you to know. And again, the comment line, the comment text doesn't impact the code, the running of the code. It's just for you or other programmers to read your code. You'll save it, compile, shouldn't complain. Okay, no complaint. Java may should print out for cars. Yeah, print out a index 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, not 4, because there's less. The length is 4, but we use the less than. We don't check equal. Okay. Okay. Here use a for loop. Use the for loop and also use a for each loop. We just add that here. So I should do the same thing, just different for loops. Save the code. Yep. So yep, it's exactly the same. No difference. Oh, multi-dimensional arrays. Yeah, that can get your head spin. Yeah, this is called a one-dimensional. No, this is a one-dimensional. What if you want to have array of arrays? So each element is instead of a string or number or whatever value, each element is another subarray, another array, another array, and another array, another array. So that's called a two-dimensional. And in math or data science, you may want to use that to store your matrix, multiple columns, multiple rows. So it's like store a table of data. So you want probably need a two-dimensional array to store your table of data. Okay. So the syntax is just as expected: array, another array, separated by comma, just like the regular variable, strings, text, strings or numbers or flows. Now here just another array, but of course inside another array, then you have to list either strings or numbers or flows doubles. So this is the first array as an element, Then it's element 1 or element 0, element 1, element 2, and element 3. Of course, the index for that first element is still 0. So this index 0, index 1, and index 2. All right. Oh, and here you have to use 2 square brackets to indicate that this is a 2-dimensional. Okay. To access it, then you just need to use 2 index. So the first is the first element array, first element, and the second index is the index of that array, that subarray. You know, in this case, this is the second array. So this is the second array element, and the second element inside that array. So second element and the second element, second array and the second element. So yeah, that should be 6. And for this one, if it's the second, well, this third, yeah, index 2, but it's the third subarray, that one. And the second element, that's 9. Okay. All right. Let's see. 2 for follow X elements, 2-dimensional. Okay. Use a for loop. Can we use it for each loop? Probably. Yeah, probably, but the for loop is good enough. So let's try this thing here. And let's get rid of all those things. So now we have this 2-dimensional array. We want to print this array out. Let's see. Oh yeah, 2 loops. The outside loop through the, which subarray. And I think that's the first, array 0, array 2, 1, array 3, 2, and the inside one loops through the elements in each array, each called a subarray, or each element array. So you do need 2 indices. And oh yeah, for the first one, use the array name and the length. That length is that length, and then for this length is for each subarray. It has index I and dot length. You see the minor difference. Let's save it. Compile. Okay. Run it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. Yeah, it's in 1, but can we do something separate them? Yeah, we can do something. We can either do this. Oh, no. Choose, no, yeah. Let's do this. So after the inside or the inner for loop, or after each subarray, we print out a maybe a new empty line. Yeah. So we can have some space between the array 1, array 2, right? Let's see if that helps. Compile, run. Yeah, okay, that's better. So yeah, so first subarray 1, 2, 3, 4, and then some space there. Second subarray, and the last subarray. What about, you may ask, oh, what about can I print the array, in a row and then another row? Let's try that. Let's see how we can make that happen, okay? Instead of a space, no, space is okay. Maybe we should add oh yeah, that's a thing. The print line automatically add a new line character. So when you print the one, it add a new line means okay, go next line. After print two, okay, go next line. That's why you got this on the different lines. In order to print 1, 2, 3, 4 in one line, I think we need to change that to something like, remember it's called a printf. Yeah, printf. That means print something with formatting. So the first argument is the format and then the values. So let's format that first. Format need a double quote and %sign and a D, that's number. Yeah, that's it. And comma, yeah. Let's see what happens. Save it. Oh, okay, that's better. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, good. Yeah, that's no space, no comma. Yeah, why don't we do something like this? Okay, print each number and add a comma and a space. Let's see if that helps. Save it. Oh, I think that's better, right? Yeah, I think so. To print matrix, you probably, you make it like a matrix like, well, this not kind of matrix. Well, it's okay, yeah. Just meaning the second row, third row don't have the last column, last value, but that's okay. Yeah, so this is good. So this is good. So we use a printf, just use a format, the numbers. The printf doesn't add a new line character. If you want it, you have to force it. Put a dash in, that means a new line. This will make the print look like the print ln. Let's verify that. Yeah. See, this go back to the print ln. See, print new line at after each number, right? Okay, cool. That's array, good. Command line, oh yeah, this command line arguments, this is a cool thing. Back here, see remember for each program, you have a main method in order to run the program. And in the name method, you have this string, array, and this variable. This ARGS stands for arguments. So it stands for, it's a short version of arguments. Arguments is, like the parameters you passed into a method. So this is a string array of, basically bunch of parameters treated as string. So it's a string array, okay? We never use it. Let's see how we can use it. Let's see. So we'll use it. So you pass some value to the application, like run argument 1, argument 2, argument 3. You can have, I don't know if that's the limit actually. There is, but probably you never run into the limit, hate the limit. So you just, this is a running program, you pass bunch of values separated by space. If you don't separate by space, that's treated as one argument, okay? So that's called a command line arguments. That's that. Let's see. Let's try this. May echo, yeah, fine. Yeah. Oh, we better use it as a new program called echo. Echo means if I type something, print something, just like the the voice echo. This is like a text echo. Just return the thing you entered. It's called echo. Oh, that's fine. Replace that thing. Save it. Now compile echo. Java. Okay. So echo nothing, number of arguments 0 means I didn't pass anything. If I said hi, say it also called a hi, that's why it's echo, right? You enter something, you get something back. It's like hello. It says hello. So it's echo. If you say how are you? Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, it says how are you, but how are you on different lines? Because a treat each word separated with spaces, treat each word or the question mark as different arguments. So I say, hey, I find number of arguments, 4 arguments. Here they are, argument 1, 2, 3, 4. So we use the line print line to print so you on the different line. But if you really want one line, then you can add the thing you entered. Instead of multiple arguments, put a question mark. Not question mark, the double quotes. Use double quotes, quote the thing, and then the whole thing will become single argument. So it said, oh, number of arguments, I see only 1. And here's the text, how are you? So that's on one line. Isn't that cool? Okay, that's the command line. Yeah, it's just simple like that. But of course, there's some details. What if you want to say 2 plus 4 equal to what? You ask that question. Then you get something like that. It just said, okay, 5 arguments, sure, fine, print out. Each of them treated as string because it defines string. When you really want to do math with this inside the program, you have to convert the string to numbers. Okay, but initially it just treat everything as string. But if you pass some number and you want the number, to be treated as numbers, then you have to do some conversion from string to numbers. So we don't have time to look at that. Maybe next time. But for now, just know that there's that option. Oh, and by the way, this one I use for each loop. You can also use the for loop. Use the I, I from 0 to the number of arguments. It's called see, this is a string array, so you can of course access the dot length property, get the string length, and then use that that regular for loop. So yeah, either way is okay. Let's jump to the Java class thingy again. So in Java class, remember we have for each class, we have this a public class and then class. You may ask, well, we know what class means. Class means we are declaring that this whole thing is a class called echo. But what does public stand for here? It's actually, there's an official name. It's called a modifier. So it means the public means it's a modifier is an access modifier is used to well, set the access level for this class. It set the access level for the class. Remember also you can use let's see, other thingy draw. Oh, I can't here. Not there. I thought we have some other. Calculator, no. Cap. Anyway, I'm looking for the of the class. I want to see the methods. You can modify a method. This is a method you modify with public. You also set the access level, meaning who can access this method. So public means outside this file or class definition. Attributes, like those attributes, the default I think is private or public. I don't remember. You can add a public or private in front of the attributes. Without the modifier, there's a default to something. I'm not sure. We can find out that later. Oh, just like that. If you clear private, that means only this class self can access it. If a public, then the other file, other class can access if you add public. Okay. That's for attributes. Okay, that's for method. So for this car method is public. That means you can access this method from another class. Okay. Modifiers are two types of modifiers. One is access, one is non-access. What is non-access? Non-access use either in final abstract. It's non-access means if you put a final or abstract, that means the class or attributes or method are not supposed to to access it for something else. Okay. But normally here, what we see so far are for access modifiers. It just control the access level. So for the access modifiers, we just look at the public, or there's a default. The public, we know that is for all classes can access. The private, meaning they call the WE. Only this class can access it. That's the private. And there's a protected. The protected, meaning the code is accessible in the same package or subclasses. We haven't looked at the package yet. Probably we won't. You just know that there's another concept called a package and also subclasses. Subclasses is something like, let's say, if we define a vehicle class, it's called a class of vehicle as a superclass or parent class, then you can create new class out of the superclass of vehicle. Let's say car or or motorcycle, something like that, as a subclass of the vehicle class, superclass. The vehicle can have different type of vehicles, cars, motorcycles, trucks, and buses, vans, so on, right? That's called a subclass. We may not get into that, so just that in the class, then there's generally called class, but when you have a class inherit created out of another class, then the other class called a parent class or superclass, the new class is called a child class or subclass. All right. That's just Java can be complicated, so we may not go that far. So yeah, we know the private just for the class self, the protected is just for the is a child class. Oh, here is if you have a person called a class, then we have a student. The student called extends person. Yeah, a student is is a person. So this is called a class extension. So this student is extended from class person. So this student is a child class of class person. And if you have the protected string, then the child class can access those or his parents or the superclass property, but no other class can access the person attributes other than the person's subclasses. Here it means student can access, but no others. Why don't we just add a example here somewhere? Yeah, here. Let's see. I think this is a good. Oh, it's a vehicle. Yeah, main vehicle master class. Who? Let's try each of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Main, where's our main here? Good. Go away. So that's my. So this is the class. Oh, too much. Don't need that. So you have a bunch of private properties. Then inside this class, we have this method. Then this method should be able to access the class's private attributes. Okay. Let's save it. Yeah. See. Error. Yeah, of course. Got too many eclipses. Perfect. Yeah, so yeah, of course it can. The question is, if we put that into another class, let's put that into another class. I don't know what we call. Should we call person? Yeah, maybe we can call the person.java return. Yep. Not main. Yeah, we don't need main. So we have this person class. All right. But the person properties or attributes are all private. Now let's save it. Now go back to main. So we don't have that in the main. We don't have that. but we do want to access a person, right? We have the person class in another file. Now let's see if we can access a person's attributes. The answer is no, but let's verify. So now we want to compile both main and a person. Well, compile error, let's see why. Oh yeah, of course. Of course. We change the main to person. So person, yeah. Save it, compile. At least we should be able to compile. We can't even compile. See? Name has private access, all not allowed for errors. But so, yeah, you can't even pass the compile stage. But what if we say, okay, fine. You can access my first name, public, make my name public, first name public, last name public, fine. But my email address and age are private. Don't access my age. Don't access my email. I hide my email. And then I open, make my name public, that's fine. And let's compile. Now 2 errors. So when the public, fine, you can access from another class, I don't care. But for my email address, my age, sorry, you can't access, they are private. So that's the idea and the use, okay? All right, protected. Yeah, let's do a quick on the protected. Oh, yeah, fine. Let's create a student. Let's create a student. Hang on for a couple more minutes. Let's create a student. Oops, what happened? Oh boy, that's I don't know what I'm doing. I need to create a student file and store the student information. Oops, not the regular thing. We add extend means create a new class out of another class. So I'm a child class of class person. Okay. So cool. Then in our main, instead of use a person, we use student. Student. Save them. Have we saved student yet? No. Save it. So now we need to compile how many? Another one, 3 files together. Student error, student file. Got a problem. What problem? One problem. 12, line 12. Ooh, line 12. Oh yeah, of course, too many, just too many curly braces. As always. 4 errors. See, private, of course, you cannot access private. No private. In May, you cannot access private. In student, you cannot access private. Okay, that's fine. We just try to protect it. Go to the person, change everything to protected. Save it. Yeah, see, now it's perfect, right? So when you run it, yeah, you can, yeah, because all protected, we didn't, yeah, the phone name, email address, age, because the student class is a child of person, and then so then the child can access the parent class's attributes, even though it's protected. But we don't have time to try another class that is not a child class of person, then we would get an error because they are protected. Okay, I think we should stop here. And do you have any questions? If no, I'll let you go. I will see you on June 3rd. That's a makeup for the May 13th. Okay. Have a good evening and a weekend. See you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Bye-bye.